And we are live once again, and this is the RSP Film Room with Eric Stoner. We watched Brett Hundley in episode 18. I'm going to call this episode 19. We're going to watch Hundley one more time. We're going to watch him against Utah from 2013. So, if you haven't checked out the first episode, go do that now because you're going to get a good bit of stuff that, nuggets that Eric supplied here about Hundley that. Yeah, and we're going to just go straight into the tape right now and go ahead and watch Hundley for episode 19 for Utah. And this is in Utah. Looks like it's a night game, which is often the case, I guess, in the Pac-10. That's kind of one of the things I do kind of like about the West Coast is you get to see all these night games. So let me go ahead and share this, and we will get started. All right, and we are good to go. Did you like that I was doing it in halftime, Eric, or do you want me to start with?
Yeah, no, I like the halftime because when it's full speed, it gets a little bit jumpy.
Good, I feel the same way.
We got a nice pulled back camera angle on this one too.
Yes.
I love college football games, the broadcast when they only have like one or two cameras for the field, so they got to pull back and show everything.
Yep. Quick decision. Nothing wrong with that. Feet seemed a little jumpy, but again, like we talked about in the last episode, we don't need to, harping on the mechanics doesn't mean that he's always going to be bad or that's a big problem.
Right.
So.
And like mechanics ends up becoming hindsight analysis based on the result of the play.
Right. Good feel. It's an opposite hash to the opposite flat throw, so it's a you had to put a little something on that.
That's something that I like to check out. It was one thing. Oh, here we go. UCLA empty. They always go with these super deep drops off of empty too. They're one of the only teams that I see really do that.
That just seems kind of counterintuitive to what you would do.
Most teams aren't down to go like into their 5- and 7-step drops out of empty, but they love it.
Do we see anything here that is even that would be a different decision? Like I see this and I see the shallow cross at the end of his drop, but he's looking, there's the flat.
Yeah.
He probably sees this angle and the length of the throws. That's smart.
I can drive right down on it with no problem.
Now, does a pro drive this seam route here? I don't know.
Potentially, but that safety's sitting right on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he does. And then you have this high-low combination between the linebacker. Maybe he would have gone low here, but if he sees the opportunity here, I see why he takes it.
Yeah. I think this is the first single high look we've seen so far.
Yeah. There was a nice lead outside. Let's see if he. I just want to see if there's any pressure that was coming that even threatens this play. No. Yeah, it's just nice placement. Nice short.
Actually, pretty patient with his play fake on that one too.
Yes. Yes. One more time with that, then we'll get off this boring little play. I'm thinking about people who are watching at this one point. I don't know why I am. If you're watching this stuff with us, then you're into whatever we're showing. I mean, like I've told folks, what's so funny, Eric, is that like everyone who's been on the show has been like super excited to be doing this, and they've loved this idea. And like I'm telling everybody, I'm like, we're gonna get more viewers as the draft gets closer, and that's what exactly has happened. But earlier in the year, I'm like, I don't care. If people are watching it, they're watching it. If
Right.
they're not, they're not. We're having fun.
Well, I was talking to Justice about this too, and he made a really, really good point that down the line, that this series is going to be like it's going to be like a little treasure trove, because especially because you're hitting so many different positions, it's a little treasure trove of how to scout basically.
Yeah,
You have so many different. I mean, everybody sees things differently. So, and you have so many good people coming on and giving their viewpoints and giving what they see. Because, I mean, there are so many things going on like every play of a football game that unless you sit there and grind, for 3 hours on one game, like everybody's gonna pick out different little things when they watch a game, and I'm always interested to see like the different things that people pick up on and what they're noticing and things of that nature.
absolutely, because it helps you, in one sense, it helps you kind of discern the signal from the noise.
Right.
It also gives you, and another is it gives you those perspectives. You can learn something from it. It helps validate a lot of things that you go, that wasn't that important to me, and it's not important to other folks either. I didn't know that. Lance Zierlein, I don't watch offensive linemen that much until the past couple of years. So Lance Zierlein's treatment of Brandon Scherf was an absolute clinic. I
Right.
enjoyed, that was a great one. And then just stuff like, you and I talking about some of the things we did, and you bring up some of the similar points, makes me feel good as an evaluator, because I look at it and go, okay, good. He sees it a similar way
Right.
in terms of what's important to him and what's not. And if not, that's okay too. It's just fun to like, because again, the only way you really learn is sometimes either through conflict,
Mhm.
disagreement, or just being wrong about something.
Being wrong. Exactly what I was going to say. You learn from being wrong.
All right, so we're going to have some pressure again through the A gap, and they're sending three in there so that they can get one, and they pick it up pretty well. Takes the easy
Yep. Can
easy
we run
check.
that back one more time?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard for me to tell exactly where he's looking, but something that I've noticed about his game is when he does get single high looks, he's very, very aware of where the safety rotation is coming from, which one is coming down, and going to the opposite side of the field from the safety rotating down and finding that void like against the linebacker. Because usually in a one high defense, it's usually going to be cover. It's either going to be cover three or cover one for the most part. So that weak side where you just have the linebacker, the opposite side of the roll down safety, he's really, really good at attacking that void.
Yep, see the safety going up, this player coming down, receiver coming across.
Yeah, he's just real
There's the
patient.
void. And we get to see a nice angle here, hopefully. Let's see. There's the rotation.
He's looking right down the middle of the field. Boom.
Yep. So now we have a too high look here. And the center has just like screwing the pooch on
Mm-hmm.
this on all first quarter with these snaps. Running back misses the block. Yeah, not much there.
Run it one more time.
Yeah, you bet.
Mm-hmm. Corner comes from the short side of the field from the boundary.
Yeah.
Late. Yep, and they catch him in a play action off of it. I love this camera angle.
Yeah. I love watching Big 12 games because they show this camera angle a
Right.
ton.
See, and that's something that I don't like. I think Chris Brown of Smart Football talked about that in one of his old articles. That's actually like NFL games they're overproduced. They have so many cameras on the field and everything and they as soon as the ball is snapped too, they start zooming in on the pocket instead of pulling back. So you never really get to see anything in an NFL game. Whereas college football games, they don't the production costs aren't as high, so they don't get as many cameras and everything on the field. So I think it just makes a better viewing experience, even though it's not pulled up as close as an NFL game. It's not as dramatic, but you can see everything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching the financial news network when I watch the NFL
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just and I love the NFL, but it's annoying as all get out sometimes. There's some nice anticipation
Yeah.
here with him. Watch let's stop at the top of the stem, and he's already got the ball out of his hand.
Very good timing. Everything is synced up.
Now the depth isn't quite there, but again, at this point, it looks like he's trying to get in the field goal position, and the primary objective might be to do that. I don't know. Or hope that maybe the guy doesn't fall down and actually can make a play after the catch.
Yeah.
Because then the only other place I could see is maybe here.
Yep, and you got the underneath player sitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just looks like a field position play because they don't even have any vertical threats on that play.
Yeah. Maybe they figure if we get close enough, we'll go for a short yardage plan, fourth, and there we go. Quick kick. Oh, Belichick's going mad. There we go. See?
All right, so we know that he can do that too.
Yeah.
He's an athlete, man.
Yes. Mobile, agile, and versatile. Let's see.
Good job going away from the safety rotation again too.
Yeah.
Ball hangs a little bit, lets that free safety get over. Because they showed that they rotated very late too, and he's still looked right down the pipe and saw it and went away from it.
Yeah.
Hangs that ball up a little bit.
Again, fixable though, don't you think?
Yeah.
This is the thing where technique files will probably go mad over and say you can't throw the deep ball, but but that's again.
It's a split second away from being there, right
Yeah.
on time.
All right. So oops. And another bad snap, I have a feeling. Yep, right at the knees.
Picks it up, makes a play.
Yeah. Very decisive. First down, too. We'll say this. He seems to do well with these oh crap moments that UCLA gives him a lot.
When he's in the eye of the storm like that, and yeah, like you said, it happens more often than like what you would like to see out of a good offense.
Yeah. I know people will laugh when I say this because especially folks who are very results oriented, but I like him more than Jake Locker, you know.
Oh, definitely.
And Locker was what, a top 10 pick, you know? If
Yeah, I think he went eighth overall.
yeah.
Well, the thing he's the thing is with Locker is that Locker was already okay mechanically, and still just he was still very very scatterballed throwing from the pocket. He was always great on the move, but it kind of went back to that question with him with mechanics, where it was like, okay, his mechanics are already okay, so why are we having these huge accuracy issues? And that's not, you don't see that so much with Brett. Um, he's actually pretty accurate from the pocket.
Yeah. So, just out of curiosity, for folks who are just interested in technique on a deep ball like this, notice how he, just before he throws the ball, how he arches his hips back a little bit.
Right.
So this is I would think that's a way to get a little bit more trajectory on the ball.
Mm-hmm. Does a good job of playing on his toes and throwing from an upright position.
Yeah.
He is good about that. He's very good about that. I think you brought that up in the part one that we did, that on one specific play. He's very aware of how to use his body.
Yeah. And that's a very good thing because again, that just shows you that he integrates his physical and conceptual understanding of technique with what it is that he does know. All right, so now we get a little red zone look.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, oh, now I understand. I was about to say, but wait, Eric. They were checking at the line. Now I understand.
Yep. Like, is he adjusting a protection for the first time ever? They're letting him do something at the line of scrimmage?
I was like, what's going on? This doesn't sound right.
Play.
The sky is blue. The clouds are white. Nice catch, though.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's where great scouting would really probably be in your favor because if you're a well coached, well scouted defense, you go, wait a minute, he's checking at the line,
Right.
cover him. This is some BS.
Some funny business.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially too because they never really line up in pistol like that with the back directly behind him either. They're
Yeah.
usually offset.
Now here's the sad part. Are we going to have some teams see this play and go, he's Brett Smith? Maybe we should.
Yeah.
I
Well,
hope not.
another thing too that just shorted us of a red zone play, and now that I think about it, in these two games, haven't seen really much of their offense in the red zone,
No.
which is a very, very, very important. Like, I think red zone offense and how quarterbacks perform in the red zone in college is very. I mean,
Yeah.
everything compresses and happens much, much, much faster than it does with the full length of the field. So it gives you a kind of a good glimpse of what they do. Not so much in under duress, but like I said, it speeds everything up, and they have to. You get to see like some of their anticipation and things of that nature.
Yeah. I don't see like a big play runner out of him.
No.
He's patient and he's like, how do I avoid getting creamed? And then that's just basically it, which is fine. I mean, he is tough in the pocket. I do like his patience in the pocket. That's a nice little
Yeah,
window
that's a very, very good play.
because you got the kind of high-low crosser here,
Mhm. And this
and
is
he
a good
looks it
example.
off. Go
Yep.
ahead.
This is a good example of the difference of timing and anticipation because this is something that I've talked about before where the two kind of get mixed up or lumped together where like timing is really like the sense of the the quarterback's drop syncing up with the breaking of the route and everything. And when I me personally when I talk about anticipation, it's usually not so much against man coverage, it's against these zone windows like this, especially going over the middle and the inside of the field where the receiver that he hits, he doesn't wait for the receiver it's to cross back behind that linebacker, and to get past the linebacker before he throws the ball. With most people, when they talk about anticipation, they would be talking about him throwing it like right out of the break, but he throws it just a step or two out of the break. See, the receiver's already breaking right now, so the sense of timing would be if the ball came out right now, especially if it was against man coverage. But he lets him cross that underneath linebacker, and now he throws it and
Yeah,
right into that window,
yeah,
right into
that
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 zone
makes total sense because and you see the timing synced with the drop. There's the drop. There's one man coming open here. He's looking at that man, decides he can see the location of his defenders behind
window.
that, and he knows he's going to have an open void behind it. Slides to the right, continues to move these men.
Right.
Another step to slide again, and then there
That
you
ball's
go.
coming out right as he's crossing behind that linebacker.
Yeah, really nice. It's an excellent point, Eric. Yeah, I mean, like I'm the more I watch him, the more, and with you telling me that they don't let him make any changes at the line of scrimmage, and we've seen that, the more puzzled I am
Because
about that.
like I said in part one, you see him show these flashes of sophistication, like real sophisticated stuff that professional quarterbacks would do. I mean, that play is a great example of it. And it might be like what you said in part one, where projecting a little bit on Jim Mora Jr., where he might have gotten the Michael Vick freak out about Hundley and said, just go make a play out there. You're locked into what we're running. Go make a play.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid kind of thinking. And Jim Mora Jr. is a defensive guy,
Hmm.
and they tend to be that way.
Right.
I'm sure that Peyton Manning gave his dad heart attacks on a regular basis for a while. Let's do it one more time. See what we got going on here.
They had much more of this last year, from what I noticed, than what they did this year in 2014, of where they just had their offense this year was just much, much more methodical. They didn't have as many plays like this where you get a guy that breaks a tackle and he's able to take it down the sideline and score a touchdown. This year,
Yeah.
like I said, just much, much more methodical. They didn't really have like any fast break element type to their offense or big plays.
Yep. Again, on time, just quick decision, gives his receiver room to be able to make a play.
Hmm.
Now we got a little bit of a twist. That was nice.
Yeah, right on target.
Well, now we see why his yards were low. And with the defender bearing down on him.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty.
What I do like about him in the pocket too, he's he's brave in there, like you said, and he'll stare down the gun barrel and everything, but he's not necessarily unconscious either. Like, there's a lot of guys that are brave in the pocket, but they don't necessarily feel pressure well. Like, I think he's a very, very good example of that. He's super brave in the pocket, stares down the gun barrel and everything. He has that baseline trait of knowing how to step up in the pocket and climb the pocket. But in terms of actually, like, maneuvering and finding little spaces and areas to get his throws off, not quite as advanced, and that's something that we've seen in these two games that he's very, very good at.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And he protects himself fairly well too. Yeah, it's one of the things that I really dig about this guy is just how well he handles the pocket. That's why I'd probably take a chance on him, though. I would, you know, again, would tell a team just wait till you really find it. But if you're not gonna wait, there's enough here that you can pin your hopes on him and be hopeful. Just don't be surprised.
Right.
If it doesn't work out as well as you want.
But he's got some of those baseline traits where it would to make it worth taking a chance on him.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can see him being if he has a really good team around him, he can afford to buy your team time. You might in 3 years go, oh well, he didn't work out like we hoped, but you won't go, he's an absolute disaster either.
Right.
And I think a team is going to fall in love with him because of the toughness.
Yeah, he is very, very tough. This is a nice game too because you're seeing so many different coverage looks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you don't really see a whole lot in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 it's a quarters-heavy league. Like, everybody mostly runs quarters, but Utah's mixing it up and showing them a lot of different looks. And sent that corner blitz off the boundary again.
Yeah. That was tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got them on that twice, so that's going to be something that maybe he's going to have to start picking up on that a little bit quicker. Especially till you see the corner, he's squatting and looking inside.
Yeah. Doesn't help when the snap's so low that you have to, like, look at the inside of your thighs to catch a ball. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I like, though, is you notice this even on this play, like, avoids this man well, and you see him process this defender on the edge.
Right.
He just can't quite do it because he's trying to turn around, sees it's not going to work, and then tries to turn in. He's a quick thinking guy. As a runner, he processes a lot.
Yes.
All right, so here's that empty set, and we got a blitz.
Bring it. Drop, straight 7-step drop.
Clean through. And on 2nd and 14, that's a win for Utah right there. Because now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming, 5 blocking. And really, I mean, the only thing you could say is, this is the thing I always enjoy. Like, okay, so here, Eric, I see these on some of these reports I watch.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to watch tape.
And see that guy coming open over the middle and say he should have hit it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you say to someone like that? Tell them why that context doesn't work.
Well, the passing strength is to the short side of the field, and that's where he's opening up, and that's where also the pressure is coming from that side, too. That's where they send the overload. So it's kind of asking him a lot. You have the opening of the progression and the pressure coming from that left side and a guy in his face right off the bat. Maybe you say that he should recognize that and see that overload and automatically go back to the backside, but that's kind of asking a lot when, like I said, all of this action is happening right in front of his eyes, and his eyes are going to naturally be drawn to that. That's something that I don't think that a lot of people pick up on with quarterbacks, is that just as a human being, your eyes, they need to know where to go with the ball, but action is still going to draw their eyes.
Yeah. And I mean, the only guy I ever see every once in a while do something where they're looking one way and throw the opposite is a short cross to, like, I've seen Russell Wilson do it a couple
Yeah,
times. But really, I mean, that's like a trick shot. That's like a no-look
exactly.
pass. Are you really going to ask a guy to make a no-look pass in the middle of the field against the grain of your body?
Yep. Especially because that backer that comes off of the backside too, that blitzes.
Yeah.
He's showing blitz, but when you're opening up that way and you see an overload blitz coming off of the left side, you're probably going to assume that somebody's dropping off back from
Yeah.
the backside.
You're going to assume this guy's going to drop or this
Exactly.
guy's going to drop.
And if you're assuming that, then you're probably assuming that he's going to be sitting right on that cross.
Yeah.
But
And you
they
don't have time to look if you have
no,
this guy coming clean in your face to see if this backside linebacker actually dropped.
exactly.
Yeah, thanks for going through that with me, because I see those things occasionally. I see a lot with running game too, where I see these on a site where they're like, well, if he cut back and did this, and I'm like, well, if he was Barry Sanders and did that, that's fine.
Right.
But I'm sorry, there's one Barry Sanders, and he gave coaches heart attacks until he proved people right, until he proved that he could do it. All right.
Empty again.
Yep, little red zone action.
Good patience.
Yeah.
Josh Norris is probably going to give me a bunch of crap because we picked like the two best games of him keeping his eyes downfield, and I know that Josh isn't the biggest fan of Brett.
Good to know. I'll have a fun discussion with him in the Senior Bowl about Brett, and I'll
Yeah,
have to watch I'll have to watch one of the games that Josh will be like, this is the game that I'm talking about where he's this way, because I want to see that. So I have a 14-year-old cat who is spoiled because I feed him chicken and I feed him tuna now.
Cat's living the good life, man.
He is, man. Well, when you lose your incisor on the skull of a dog, um, and you drool as much as he does, you kind of
Yeah,
feed him soft food every once in a while.
right.
But let's just say that there's a bad after effect of that for
Yeah.
me in my
Yep.
office right now. So Febreze is a very good thing.
That's a sign.
He takes his share of hits for nothing in some of these games. And this is the type of thing I want to see how this affects him in the fourth quarter. I mean, he just got nailed in this
Yep.
play.
He does get beat up.
I mean, the NFL, they'd probably fine the guy $200,000 and like take his kid away put him in child protective services for that. Another drop. That's a shame. Is that Shaq Evans over there? I think that was.
I think you might be right.
Oh, Shaq.
Yep, it is Shaq.
There we go. Shaq was a really nice guy to talk to at the Senior Bowl.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. I'm not big on like I don't really usually care personality wise one way or the other with folks, but when I get a chance to talk to a guy who's like,
Okay,
ooh,
so this is bad.
yeah. All right, we'll stop talking about Shaq Evans and go to the worst case scenario here. So, all right, let's watch this play from the get-go. We have a bite. All right,
All
three
right,
by one.
safety's rotating.
Yep. Middle pressure coming through. So
Yep.
this is where nice job avoiding that guy. But now it's time. Let's reverse field. Just reckless. He threw that blind.
Yep.
That was just, yeah. But here's the thing. When I watch this play, and if this is indicative of people going, this is what he does poorly. Now, if he does this like every couple of games or every 3 games, this is really bad.
Right.
But if this is the only play I see out of like 7 or 8 games,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be like, whatever. It was a dumb decision, really dumb decision. But
Yeah. Like you said, just throwing it blind.
and he has the lead. I mean, basically, they give up the lead on this play.
He does drift right into that blitz too.
Yeah, he's probably just even trying to throw it away. Well, he might even be trying to throw it away or hit that receiver. But either way, oof, that was nasty.
Yeah, that was bad.
All right, this will be fun because 2nd and 12, if
With
depending on the
that
route.
raw.
Oh boy. It also looks like Andrew Luck sometimes against the behind the Colts line. But
I swore I saw some chatter too about somebody. Maybe it was Sully asking me about if there were any good offensive line prospects on UCLA. I think somebody was talking about their left tackle, and I don't know. Every time that I've watched UCLA, I've never come away impressed with their offensive line.
yeah, you see what he's thinking. I like this play because you do see what he's thinking and watch. We're going to watch this. I think it's the slot right man coming around on a deeper cross, and that's what he's looking to. And right here, it's like, okay, it's open, but
Yep.
then he spots the shallow defender dropping fast,
Right.
and it's a mature play. He's reading that field well at this point, but then once it breaks down, he reduces and gets inside, but then it's just like from this point on, it's a mess. So,
Right.
and he still gets something out of it. I mean, so it's not all disaster.
Bad snap again.
Nice,
Mm-hmm.
nice little off balance play there. And it's nice to see that he can make a throw like that off a bad platform.
Right. Yeah, we've seen him do it a few times.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that I didn't see a ton of that in the UVA game, but this game,
See, and
what
you
do you,
could throw on those little short passes too, where they have to throw off balance like that to the outside quadrants of the field. Those usually give you a pretty good barometer of arm strength too, whether the receiver, if it's hanging in the air and the receiver's got to wait and wait and wait. That's actually something that I killed Bortles for last year. Just his velocity on his short passes to the outside, they took forever to get there.
Yeah.
That I mean, you never really see that problem with him at all. Like he's not a guy that Hundley's not a guy. He doesn't have like the strongest arm in the world. Like it's not like something where it's gonna like wow like be super
Yeah.
super impressive. But you never really see issues of the ball. Like it's certainly strong enough to where and like he's got a strong arm and the ball doesn't really hang getting there to the outside quadrants of the field.
No, not at all. And one of the nice things is you also see that he's very conscious about trying to rotate his hips through a throw.
Right.
He throws with his legs.
Yeah, it's not all because that's exactly what Bortles' problem is he doesn't really get any trunk rotation at all, and his feet are all messed up, so he's throwing it with all arm and shoulder and elbow.
Yeah. Smart play.
Hmm.
Any day now. Let's see. All right, we're terminally frozen on analysis talk. There we go. 3rd and 20.
Tied game in the fourth.
Yep. Safety's dropping to too deep back there. Little pump fake or shoulder fake. That's not bad. I mean, you stay in field goal range. That's nothing wrong with that play, really.
Negative plays in that area of the field. That's the
And
number one concern. Just don't
and
take
you
a negative play.
yeah, and you rarely see him make negative plays. I mean, we saw that horrendous play that tied this game up, but even against UVA, when he got sacked, it was usually for a small loss. It wasn't
Hmm.
for a big loss. Another six-man pressure package. Nice.
Yep. Like you were saying, doesn't really show that second gear to break away once he hits that second level, but
Uh,
just very good at finding space.
Patient.
Yep.
And this is nice. They got the lead with that 4th down or 3rd down run that he had.
Hmm.
All right, let's look at that real quick. Empty set again,
Yep.
but they didn't
Yeah,
move
I see
to
a lot
empty.
in this game.
Yeah. 5-man package coming at him. Yeah, nice throw on time. It's a little high and wide. Happens. Again, it's a lot like offensive line play. You're not going to ding a guy for an inaccurate throw here and there. You're looking
Right.
for a pattern, you know.
Yep. And he actually gives the receiver a chance there based on like where the corner's positioned on him too.
Yeah,
That throw's got to come outside.
and the receiver probably has to keep his feet a little longer too and try and run through it, but he also had to alter his momentum some, so probably not the best throw, but like you said, put it where it needed, where only where the receiver could get it. Now they're sending the house at him. You see the makings of at least he shows some touch here. Like he wants to play some touch and let the receiver run under it. He just with the pressure in his face, he rushes it a little bit. tough situation.
Yep. Teams have a lot of success with these overloads against them, man.
Yeah. The center needs like a couple of booster seats on his feet.
I
That
like
was
that.
just, yeah.
Because they motion out and he sees the linebacker go out and he knows he's getting cover one off of the jump and he just takes off. So I don't mind that.
Yeah. And he even gives the safety a look like he's going to throw.
Mm-hmm.
And look at where the hole he
Yep,
takes.
exactly.
I love that. He's a smart runner. Takes the hole to set up that whole move back to the right
Yep.
from the jump. He reads the helmet correctly to go outside, then stays outside. I mean, he presses this to get
Yep.
this safety to sink inside.
He sees that angle that the offensive lineman's got on him. It's perfect.
Yeah. And he takes the extra 2 to 3 steps even after you know he's going to bend it inside. Like right here as a fan, you're like, oh, he's going to bend this inside unless he's just completely stupid. And you know he's not going to do that. But then it's like 1, 2, 3 steps before he's within a yard of that, ensures it.
It's a great play call.
Yeah.
Like I said, caught him in a quarterback draw against cover one. It's perfect, and he set up that run beautifully.
Yeah. And here's the other, I mean, again, this is a little intangible thing, but it does, with imagine how annoying it must be as a quarterback, play after play after play of the guy can't even get the snap to you, dead center to you. It's either on your hip, it's between your knees, it's on the ground. Every play's that way. After a while, you could end up like Jay Cutler and have that attitude of where you just give
Don't care.
you don't care. It's over. I don't care anymore.
Don't care.
Yeah, he's not that way, you know. And of course, Cutler was when he was younger actually did care, but that's the thing that you see is that if he's in a in the situation where he's dealing with this type of adversity, you know, play after play, it's not distracting him from doing what he needs to do. So, yeah, overall, I mean, I like you mentioned with Josh, I need to see some plays where maybe he's doing more of the ugly that we saw in that pick six.
I know that Stanford's been his Achilles heel since he's been there. They've roughed him up. They've roughed up the whole UCLA squad all 3 years, basically. So
yeah,
that would probably be a good one to check out if you can get your hands on it. I don't think that I've seen him against Stanford, but I've seen the box scores and everything like that, and I know that it's like I said, they've beaten him up a little bit.
Then I'll have to watch that, and that'll definitely be worthwhile to check out in the coming weeks. So, you know, overall, if this is more of what you're going to see from Hundley, then I would say that you know, I'm impressed with him, just not enough to say, you know, not enough to say, oh, I think this guy is a guarantee. Well, I don't, and no one's a guarantee starter, but someone that I'd feel really strongly about as a starter. This is a guy that if someone said, would you take the chance on him? I'd say, if you're telling me that we have to take a chance on a quarterback early, then yes, he would be on the short list.
Right.
So,
I'm interested to see how this quarterback class fleshes out for everybody because like it seems like it's pretty slim pickings after the top two.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about the two while I've got you that you want to share?
I've seen a fairly decent amount of Jameis over the last couple of years, and from what I've seen this year, I mean, and I watched the one that you and Sigmund did on him. Um, the Florida State team, in my opinion, it's not a very, very good team, and especially not a very good offense this year. They you can tell that they've graduated. That they've got a lot of guys playing in the NFL right now, and they have not been able to reload and rebuild as quickly as you see some of the SEC teams doing, and like Alabama and LSU. LSU loses; they're guaranteed to lose their underclassmen every single year. They're notorious for that, and they just plug those guys in, and it hasn't really happened. From what I've seen, it hasn't really happened for Florida State. Their offensive line is not good at all. Their offensive line is not good. So you see, like from what I see, and this is just from watching him live. Like I said, I haven't like broken down his game in depth. He carries them and makes up for a lot of the deficiencies on that team. Like people don't really see it because they just see number one and they haven't lost a game in 2 years, so they think it's a stacked Florida State team. But I don't really see it like that, and I see he has a bad tendency to start playing hero ball, especially when he starts pressing. But I mean, and we talked about that in the first Hundley episode with some of these quarterbacks. You just wonder if they're ever going to dial that hero ball mentality back, if that's even possible. But he does so much to make up for the deficiencies, and he's sophisticated in terms of navigating the pocket and being good both inside and outside of the structure of the offense, and being able to do things when the play breaks down. So I like Jameis a lot. Mariota, I've only seen him live. I haven't really broken his game down since I did a little bit when his first year starting, but not enough to where I could sit down there and say like exactly what his strengths and weaknesses are, especially trying to evaluate him in that offense. That's something that you would have to like really dig and grind into to get a true feel for his game.
No, that's fair, and it's funny because Winston, I probably would have been one of those guys saying, "Man, I mean, they seem stacked. They look like they might be the next set of Miami Hurricane dynasty going on down here." But then as I'm watching through this film room, and then I get to watch with Justice, and I watch with with some other guys, and it's like that offensive line isn't all that great.
Yeah,
this team isn't all that stacked as it seems to be. And that that not only covers up Winston, but it's also an interesting factor for the likes of a guy like Carlos Williams. So I look at this team and I'm right there with you. I like what I see from Winston. Winston kind of reminds me a little bit of Steve McNair in the way that his style and movement, and
I can actually totally see that.
Yeah, it's not. The only thing is he's not as mobile as McNair was early in his career. McNair to me was Superman, like coming out when it came to his mobility.
Yeah, that's actually something funny too, because you're already starting to see that getting projected on him more than it should be. Like, I forgot who the dude that writes for National Football Post that used to work for the Bears.
Greg Gabriel.
And he has in his scouting report like drawing comparisons physically and athletically to Cam Newton, and I'm just thinking he's not that type of athlete or runner at all.
Yeah, I would disagree with that too.
He can move, but that doesn't mean that he's like your prototypical sick athlete, Superman quarterback like Cam or like McNair, like how you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. He's not. I mean, I would say it's closer to. I don't even know who I would say it's closer to at this stage.
Maybe Donovan after he got a little bit heavier.
Yeah, or McNair at the end of McNair's career.
After he started breaking down a little bit.
Yeah, that would be about it. But but the ability, what I see with him and McNair is the ability to move to his right or left and throw the ball with good placement to lead a receiver downfield after he's getting harassed in the pocket and the play's undone. That's what vintage McNair would do at the end of his career once he really developed. And I think that Winston already flashes some of that. He's a little more advanced in that area of his game. So yeah, Mariota I'm watching today. So
all right,
so we'll go from there.
Good to see what you think.
Yeah, it should be fun. So, but again, thanks again for being on. And anytime you want to come back on, you just let me know, and we will figure out a date.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good day, everyone.